Hey, Ursula here. Today I'm gonna show you a little bit about what we've been working on in the garden here. Unfortunately, everything has to happen like all at once. So the minute I start doing one thing, something else needs to be done. And it means that nothing is getting completed at one time. So it makes it hard to measure progress. You can see here, I still have plants that need to go in the ground. And these guys probably even more sad. They need a drink. I got to get the hose out this morning. The rain that we were supposed to get hit a different township, not ours. So the eggplants are staying in the planters. The basil needs to be put in. These are all perennials, flowers. I need to remove bushes before I can put those in. More basil, some tomatoes, some herbs. This over here is bachelor buttons, and they really could use to get in now. But what happened that's causing everything all at once is that all of the berry bushes decided to ripen simultaneously. Now, let's see. These are blueberries. This one isn't ready to harvest yet, but the ones further back are. And we've already pulled in 2 or 3 cups of blueberries just from one bush. The netting is just to keep the birds out. It isn't going to completely keep them out, but they're finding that the mulberry trees, which are in full bloom, are much tastier. And also, some of the birds like eating the red currants. I haven't had red currant harvest in years just because the birds typically get them first. But you can see there's a couple on here could be picked. Couple. Yeah, I'm being scolded just for even looking. How dare I? Oh, that's a squirrel. I don't know if you can see him. He's hanging out on the pole there. Some of the flowers are in bloom. This section got planted, but it hasn't reached maturity yet. We've got poppies down there, calendula here, but the bigger flowers haven't come into bloom just yet. This is the section I want to get at to plant the rest of the flowers. It's right here. The lamb's ear is what this thing is called, and honestly, it spreads everywhere. So if I take it out and actually put flowers in, it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. But also, there's an awful lot of bindweed. Bindweed is this thing right here. It chokes things off. It's kind of like a wild morning glory. It is not fun. I also have way more borage than I need to have. And a lot of coltsfoot too. So I had been busy working on this section so that people could walk through here. And because of that, I didn't get at a few other things. Ooh, we have one bergamot or bee balm or monarda, however you want to call it. But the deer came through and they ate all the leaves off the hollyhock. So the hollyhock is starting to bloom at only about 3 feet tall, even though normally it goes up to 6 in this location because the deer ate all the all the leaves off of it. This is celery going to seed. And we'll have peas shortly. So there's been a lot of harvesting going on and not a lot of actually planting going on. Let's go take a look at the rest of it. Okay, you can see I gave up and planted some of the tomatoes in grow bags. I had some potatoes that either the squirrels removed or they just never grew. They rotted out. It was really wet earlier this year, so some of them did get root rot. So those got planted. This, I don't know if you can see how badly bent that is. My compost has been raided by groundhogs. There are 2 of them. And that's a whole nother story. But you can see the mulberry is everywhere. Huge, huge bumper crop this year. I've been picking, but it came ripe at the same time as the black raspberries. That one looks good. I'm gonna eat that one. And also the red raspberries. This is a potato bed. I mean, if I was really going after a complete harvest of mulberries, I would run another clothesline parallel to this one and put sheets across it and then just bang on the branches and collect everything from up high. But the tree is serving a purpose. All these berries are keeping the birds out of my black raspberries. They're keeping them out of my blueberries. And they're keeping them off my gomi berry tree. So we're going to go take a look at the gomi berry, which is in the way back. And so far, this is working. We got quite a few strawberries this year, way more than we've ever had before. Although I do need to get in here, take this apart and weed it. These are my pumpkins. And I'm hoping we can get them climbing the grid walls so that even though their fruit is going to be heavy and I'm going to have to make hammocks for it with the groundhogs, they eat squash like you wouldn't believe it. Squash, melons, any of the cucurbit family are their favorite foods. So if you ever need to set a trap for them, that's what you use as bait. So what I did get done this week, that needs to be weeded, I got sweet potatoes planted. I have this whole bed through here is sweet potatoes, and there's a few amaranth. I don't care if they climb the amaranth. The amaranth reseeded from last year. Some of the amaranth I moved up into the front yard, and somehow I ended up with a beet in here, which I did not plant, so that must mean the mice moved the seed and put it in over here. Okay, we're gonna climb the hill. Always interesting. Right now we're in shade up here. Okay, this whole section is trash. Until I get that branch down, there's no point in planting here because it's not getting sun. This gets afternoon sun, and now that I've got it secluded off from the groundhogs, I actually have carrots coming up, and I have beans coming up over here. I have like 2 rows of beans, and then I planted zucchini in here because I don't think, well, I caged the zucchini on this end. All right, and we'll see how long that lasts. Like I said, that branch has got to come down, but there's a few other things need to be done first. I did put in a lot of basil in the cinder block holes. And it does not appear that the groundhogs like to eat it. I also have nasturtiums, just weeds. This is alyssum, and turnips are just about ready to harvest. These are a salad turnip. I'll pull one so you can see. This one's ready to come. That's what they look like. They're sweeter and not as spicy. What we've been doing is turning them into refrigerator relish. Made a pickle relish, and we just add these and radishes and carrots, and it's a great little relish. All right, so this was a day project all by itself. I got 9 tomato plants in here, and then I had to screen them at the same time, so I had to find all the poles. And right now this is being secured with rebar, and then of these cool little clamps. And I just took the tool, which this is where the groundhog chewed through it, but that's nowhere near where anything's gonna want to go in. And the birds don't bother this. It's the deer I really want to keep out. I don't think the groundhogs are even going to bother it. So all along the garage here, the black raspberries have taken over under the rose bush. And then I have a bunch of cleavers I need to clear out of here. This is mint. And now, this is an old bed frame I used for quite a while as a tomato support. Worked good for that. And decided to try and use it as a fence, and that's debatable on that. All right, so this is the gomies. Now, I've already picked quite a few, but I have a lot more to do. I think tonight I'm going to be getting back at those guys there. One thing that's got to be done when I trim this bush is I've got to dig out a walnut tree here, and they're not here now, but that's where they live, down in that hole. Let's see if I can get a better angle of it. Down in that hole is where 2 groundhogs live. 2 of them, not just 1, 2. And they've been scooting. They're still fairly small, like they're pups. They've been scooting right through my 3x4 inch wire squares here, just going right through the holes. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about these guys, because I have put the fencing in, the underground fencing, and I'm not sure if that's actually under my garage or if that's just alongside my garage. There used to be a walnut tree that got cut out, and I think the roots started to rot finally, and I think that's where they're going. Also had a rock wall fall down. You can see it back there. When the tree fell, the 60-foot tall Siberian elm fell down, it ruined the rock wall. It just totally destroyed it, and I have yet to get in here and rebuild it, because that's a lot of hard labor. But you can see my gomies. These are fantastic. If you've never tried one, you should. They taste like sweet tarts. They actually taste like sweet tarts. I'm going to turn this batch into jam. And since I rarely get my red currants, I'm going to use them in place of currants in Oriental cooking. They make a great marinade on chicken. Mix it with teriyaki. It's just amazing. So that's the plan. I'm going to show you one more trouble spot that's going to be taken care of very shortly because I'm going to do it today. All right, this is my frost blanket. We are getting down into the 40s this week. I still haven't put the frost blankets away. There's a reason for it. This weather is very, very screwy. So right now we're under the pear tree, which frosted out. We're not going to have pears this year. We had a late frost and we lost all the blooms. There's nothing on it. But it is almost midsummer's and I do need to get in here and trim. All right. As I walk into my way back, this is my culprit right there. That is poison ivy. That is not Virginia creeper, which I also have plenty of, but this one is poison ivy. So as I move there it is. So memorize that, stay away from it. Leaves of 3, don't bother me. We're gonna bother it a little bit with some weed spray. I don't typically use weed spray, but I do make an exception for poison ivy. Anyway, the rest of this is work for another day because it's a jungle. Take care, everybody.